No need to worry or question why. Surrender, let go, release, and know. Breathe.
Thousands of years ago, the Buddha taught you are what you think.
So a modern philosopher coined the phrase that you are what you eat.
Today, like millions of my human sisters and brothers on planet Earth,
I'm becoming mindful about what I eat, what I think.
But lately, I've been thinking about this.
I watch what I eat, but do I watch what I watch?
It's
Sister
Jenna
Jenna.
Drucker coming to you from San Francisco, California, and I am here to say that I love watching The Next Normal with Sister Jenna. I get transformed, I am inspired, it's deep, it's wise, it's wonderful, just like her. I hope you're watching it too.
Is one of the purest, most sublime spirits I've encountered. Gentle voice, gentle sound, but booming spirit. She makes life more graspable. I listen to her, I see and sense and say to her and about her. She's a woman of good, a woman of God, a woman of elevated consciousness. I'm so glad to be a part of your life and that you are a part of mine and that we are all together a part of each other's. Peace and blessing.
Chip Carlton Pearson, that was very sweet of you. And of course, Karen Drucker and everyone out there who has stayed with us for 9 months. There's some of you who have been with us from the absolute beginning when we started with the online programs, and you have not even missed a night. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And for those of you who missed the nights and actually did a follow-up and watched it later on, thank you, thank you, thank you. And those of you who kind of waited until 2-3 days and listened to The Next Normal or Spiritual Vaccine, on behalf of all of us here, we say thank you, thank you, thank you. So how was your day today? What did you do? What did you eat? Did you go anywhere? Who did you speak to? Hina came by today and she was saying, Dee, I had such a good day today. You know, I said, yeah, you know, those days they come and they go, right? I was talking to somebody in India this morning, and she shared something to me that was just hilarious, which had to do with her doing some spiritual work, and while she was doing it, she was like, oh God, when is this spiritual moment going to end? She basically was stating, so she asked me, have you ever felt like that when you're like giving a lecture? And I just had to say, it's not that I've never felt that, but that doesn't mean that what you're feeling is wrong. I had to be so mindful in letting her know that her feelings weren't wrong. And I said, but I've had different feelings, but not those. Again, one of the most powerful things in life in order to really fuel the soul of resilience is when you are totally truthful about what you're feeling and going through. It actually adds to the power of your inner resilience. I don't know if you know that. But that truthfulness and that honesty and that sense of vulnerability can open up the doorway or the pathway to a great amount of resilience. Today, the topic on resilience is a big one. I know that many of us in the world are hoping that we will be resilient and kick back. And there's some of us that feel a little bit scared, wondering, will I really be able to kick back? The answer, yes, it is in the soul. It might take you a little while to get acclimated. Maybe you might be balancing out your energy more when the world opens back up and you're heading back out there to do your thing. Maybe you'll do it differently, maybe. In another conversation with someone today, we were discussing, really, has anyone changed during these 9 days of birthing or, being in this sort of a state? To what extent, huh? 9 months, yeah, sorry about that. To what extent have we really changed? Do you feel that you've changed in the 9 months? Yes? Santosh, do you feel that you've changed in the 9 months? You have? Do you all, anyone out there who feels that in the last 9 months that they've changed, please feel free to put it in the comments list. But one of the things that she said to me, she was like, I really wish I could say that I have, but I really haven't. And so she was telling me that she ended up binge watching this Indian either series or movies, I don't know what it was, on some network. And she says, there's a time I would never do that. And I'm just binge watching these things. I go, so you have changed. That's what I was thinking. She's like, no, I don't mean change like that. So that was what she was thinking. She was going, yeah. But that's not the kind of change that I want, Sister Jenna. I want a change to evolve. And I'm like, well, sometimes, I've been using this image of the slingshot. Maybe you're being pulled back a little bit more. Maybe you're falling short as you're pulled back to go forward and never give up on the self. The other day we were out and we were looking at lots of people outside, and you have to really pay attention to the thoughts you have when you're on the street. And you might see people walking around without masks, and you might end up to be a little critical or judgmental. There's one person that I know very well, and one day we were driving from the house, and we're near a park called the Betty Cook Park in Fairfax, Virginia. And as we were driving, and I've never heard this soul speak like that, he looked at the people that were all walking, going to this like nature walk or park or waterfall. And he just says, look at them. Okay, everybody, this was exactly his expression. I'm driving, okay? Because I don't trust his driving. I'm driving. And he's on this side, Sister Gita's happy, everybody else is in the back. And I'm just driving. And I said, there's so many people out today. Oh, the weather's really nice, that must be why. And he goes, look at them, fools. Don't they know there's a pandemic? And I just said, I've never heard you speak like that before. And he's like, this is how the cases are going up. And he went on, and I said, yeah, I get it. But one of the things I want you to really check yourself, and this is an important checking, is that the human tendency of souls is that if I can't have it or if I can't do it, why are you doing it? It's such a tendency of human beings. There's a saying that misery loves company. So you might be very, very mindful that if you have this mentality that, who are they to think they can't wear, look at them, they're not wearing their masks, they're this, they're that. We don't know. I mean, I have to say that at the Trump rally, I was very surprised with the protest in Washington, D.C. that happened a few days ago, that I did notice that a lot of folks weren't wearing their masks. And I was thinking, that's not good. That's like a festering ground to pick up the virus. And I was wondering, what was it that perhaps I was missing? Did I miss something? Is the pandemic over? So you can get a little bit confused, you know. You're at home and you're battling down the hatch, and you know, everybody who comes by have to have a mask, they have to do sanitizer, they have to sit 6 feet apart, this. And then you're looking at something with a whole bunch of happy people taking over the Capitol and damaging up the building, and they're like, ha ha ha, and there's not one mask, that each of them are getting arrested now because they could see exactly who these people were. Maybe that's why they didn't wear their masks. Maybe they needed to be identified by the feds. I don't know. But I'm just saying that it was surprising that in such an energetic space where you're always touching your face, you're holding up your picket signs, you're like, yeah, you know, and you could pick up a virus or bacteria. So it's hard to sort of decipher what is true and what isn't. And sometimes when you're in this back and forth state of emotional uncertainty, it takes away your power of resilience. Sometimes when there is fear, it will take away your resilience. Sometimes when there's self-doubt, but just sometimes when you don't feel clear for the future, it can take away your resilience. But here's the irony. Fear, lack of clarity, and even self-doubt can sometimes be fuel for your resilience. Because sometimes when you have to be resilient, it's when your back is to the wall. It's when it's not really working out. It's when things have broken down and it needs to be rebuilt. And the only one who can rebuild it will be you, but you're going to need the power to do it. So when we were driving down the street the other day and we were seeing so many folks and everyone had on their mask, I think about 90%, we were in Georgetown in DC, and everybody was wearing their mask, 90% at least or more. And I said, it's amazing. Even a pandemic cannot stop humanity. No matter what, human beings by nature will keep doing things, will keep living, will keep thriving, will keep wanting to be together with other human beings. It is the fundamental natural nature of the human spirit to socialize, which is why being lonely can hurt you, which is why isolating yourself can hurt you, which is why moving away from people that matter the most to you and keeping yourself kind of cornered in a corner can hurt you, because the natural nature of the soul is to be very social, to be community driven. Now, there's some of us that might say, I'm not really good at socializing with people. I don't do good in public. I'm an introvert. I'm very, very shy. But yet, these are the ones that are performing on large stages. Remember Michael Jackson? They would say that he could not sit with you and have like maybe just a proper conversation because he was so shy. But when he went on that stage, there was a completely different person. And so I think that sometimes when our back is to the wall or things are falling apart or breaking down, there's something that gets birthed in the spirit and it says, I've got to do this for my own survival. I must do this for my own survival. I am wired to survive. And resilience is a natural innate energy in every person. Even if you suffer with depression and you can't get out of that bed, I know as you're laying there, you're thinking, I want to, I want to, you want to. And that thought of wanting to get up and getting inspired and getting going, that thought is actually building. And even the moment you start to visualize yourself actually leaving that bed and becoming more active day by day, that's your resilience that's already wired in you that's working. It's not like you have to turn on your power of resilience. It is the natural nature for the soul to survive and to be resilient. I love what Santosh calls resilient. He says resilience. So, and he actually meant that. Oh, this is a good topic, resilience. That's exactly what I'm going to talk about tonight. That our resilience is built by the energy of recycling our inner silence. The more we recycle the inner stillness, the silence, the resilience in the soul, there's an energy, there's a fuel that builds from that. And that fuel comes to your rescue, especially when you need it the most. Especially when you need it the most. So let's take a pause here and let's do what we do best on the next normal. And that is to meditate and to go into ourselves and be introspective and try to really see if we can tap that power that's in you. You see, there's power in everyone. It's like a light switch. Once you turn it on, and that power gets activated when you consider yourself a soul, and you are so sure your relationship with God, the Supreme Soul, is paramount. Nothing comes in between that. I, the soul, and Baba, I, the soul, and Allah, I, the soul, and Khuda, Bhagwan, God, Lord, Master, Shiva. That has to be your primary focus, and that is a secret of the level of resilience that you have innately built in you, is connected to your relationship and connection to Source. So let's see if we can take a deep dive and go inwards and meditate on our power of resilience, and then I'll see you back in just a few minutes.
I take a few slow, deep breaths, inhaling and exhaling, and I prepare to experience my real being. I travel in my mind to a beautiful mountain at sunset, and I sit in the soft, feathery grass. And as I sit here, it's as if the mountain holds my weight and absorbs any stress I have in my body. As I sit here, I enjoy the stillness of the sky, the quietude, and the solitude. I enjoy being far away from the world, and yet very close to home. Very close to my real personality of peace. I can feel this right now, this serenity and this strength. And I know that this solitude gives me the power to be resilient in the face of challenges. True resilience means that I face challenges without being jaded by them. It means I face challenges and I am reborn through those challenges. When I give myself the experience of solitude, then I become refreshed and I am able to face challenges with wisdom, with power, with silence. But I also need the power to go within and ask myself, what is one thing that I could do daily, spiritually, to grow, to face the challenges with more power, with more peace, with more stamina? And I sit and listen for that answer. And just as I need to prepare for any major storm that I would experience in the physical world, in the same way, when the inner storms of life come, if I have a plan, if I have a daily spiritual effort or practice, then very quickly I am able to change the skies of my inner world back to the ways they once were, clear, beautiful, and peaceful. With solitude and with a clear plan, I am able to develop resilience. I am able to become as strong as the mountain that I am sitting on right now. And like the blossom that remains trapped beneath the snow for 9 to 10 months, I also have an urge to grow. I also will find my way up into the air. I will find my way to blossom despite any challenge I may face. I too have this same urge to grow, to be the beautiful person that I am destined to become. And when these challenges come, I do not fear them or think of them as burdens, but I think of them as the chance to be reborn, to become wiser, to become more spiritually beautiful. I take a deep breath and I leave this beautiful place of solitude with the intention of creating a plan for my life spiritually, so that I can be reborn through any challenge I may face, and so that I may develop true spiritual resilience.
So the whole
When we see
experience of
Pleiadian
resilience
shapes,
is
we
really
see
an
a sphere of
internal
light.
affair. It has to do with your inner state of being. Outside there'll be crisis and there'll be trauma. There might be even a sense of loss. But did you know that you could also be resilient without that? You can be resilient because you've got dreams and you've got goals, and you can feel like there's a vision that's pulling you. In the Brahma Kumari's teachings of Raj Yoga meditation, when I was gifted the inheritance of thinking that the personality behind my two eyes has the opportunity and the capacity to soar and be so angelic and so good and so pure at heart, similar to a deity, I was like, what? How is that even possible? And then the answer was, well, you were born that way naturally. It's just that life experiences gave you different twists and turns, and we go through different accounts with people, different events, and based on where the soul is at that particular point in their life, they make choices. And majority of the choices that we've made in our past had an influence of something that was lacking in the soul, something that was a little limited. How many of you out there sometimes question your capacity or your potential? Hands up in the comments section right now. How many of you out there feel something still isn't solid in you? Hands up. Something is missing? Yeah? And we don't know quite what it is, right? You might think it's, I'm just going to start from gross to subtle. You think it's a husband, it's a wife, it's a dog, it's a cat, it's a new job, it's money, it's a new house, it's to lose 20 pounds, which I could do, but whatever it could be, sometimes you start from the external, that you think it's an external thing that wants you to feel solid on the inside. How many of you out there have felt that? You needed a new car to feel like you had arrived. You need an outfit. You need to, this has been a big thing, which has been a big conversation. You need Botox. You need to augment your nose. I've told now many women are trying to get straight nose. Like, what's wrong with nice, rambunctious noses like mine? I don't think there's anything wrong with my nose. But there are people who are getting surgeries for that, and they're not getting a surgery for a rambunctious nose like mine. They're looking for something thinner, straighter. And I was thinking to myself, wow, why? We were having a conversation about a month ago, myself and Dr. Kogod. We were at GW. And one of the things that America Meditating will be doing in 2021 is that we're going to be interviewing the heart and the matter of a lot of Bollywood celebrities that are going through different changes during the pandemic. So from self-care tips to what they've learned to what's been the greatest struggle, that's some of the conversations that we'll be having on our America Meditating radio. We already had one with Kanupriya, but we're going to be growing much, much more. So there was one particular person, and this soul, I thought, was physically one of the most beautiful people I'd ever seen on the planet. But after a while, I don't know, they got married, they had children, they started to get Botox and change up their features. And that sparked such a conversation in me that I said to my friend, I go, she was perfect. Her features were perfect. And she wanted to change it. And now she looks horrible, by the way. I mean, they still say she's very beautiful, but I don't see that. Not what I used to see. So I thought to myself, when that soul looks in the mirror, why didn't she see that she's just perfect? And I think that some of us who struggle with finding the energy of resilience, we stop holding the vision inside of ourselves of what is perfect in us, what is powerful in us, what is beautiful, what is it that we actually deserve. I think we just fall short. It's not that you don't have resilience. Everyone is wired with the power of resilience. I think that too many of us focus on what's not good, where the lack is, why I don't have what you have. And I'll tell you the truth, I talk to a lot of people. There is something in the human spirit that if you sense somebody else is doing it, making it, moving it, and you have that ambition or you have that desire for it, you will never give them your good wishes. It's like you would rather compete or try to be better than them than to give them your blessings. And what I've known is that there's some folks, they get to somewhere, that's fine, and some folks just never get anywhere. And I wonder if those are the people, when they look into the mirror, they go, I'm not enough, I'm not good enough. I don't have the energy, I don't know. But back to the whole conversation about resilience, and when you go inwards, do you sense that there is something at all that you feel is lacking? It's not completely there. So let's put a little bit of a marker right there, shall we? And pause for a little bit. What is it that you feel in you is still lacking? Think about it. What is it connected to? When you feel a little sad or down, or you feel unsettled, or you feel like you're not here and you're not there, and you're definitely not in the present, but there's something stirring in you that you go, I want more, I want this, I need this, I have to have this. But because of your desires, or because you're focusing on the negative, there's no resilience to get it. You're not motivated one bit. You sit there and you're like, oh yeah, and then you blame the whole world for why you're not able to shine brighter. And that's the reason. If we're so focused on people and blaming and criticizing, then of course we're not going to have the power of resilience that we need. Especially when resilience is a natural energy in the soul. It takes longer for it to be activated. I'm not focusing on the right things. So you want your resilience to kick in? Have that, open yourself up to visualizing what it would be like when you're out of the hole that you feel that you're in. Whether it's in your marriage, your finance, your health, a relationship, dare to dream and see what it would look like for you. Try to be courageous enough to put your dream down on paper, and doesn't matter how small or large it is. Look at it. Ask, why do I need this dream fulfilled? And if you can answer that why, you will get to what's blocking you to give your power. Because the minute you can answer your why, then you will be able to determine if your why is really sincere and genuine, which is a sustaining energy, or if it's an energy that is superficial, which cannot sustain or last for a long time. It can get started, and it can pump up people to get started, but it can't stay. Your staying power and your settling power and your ability to be consistent comes from pure intention. It comes from something in you is doing it not because of your lack. You're continuously moving your life forward because you're resilient. And you're resilient for all the right reasons. Because if I shine, you shine. If he shines, I shine. And everybody's just picking up from all of the positive, great energy to keep you going. What I like about our time together every night is how we all just support each other, especially for those on the live chat. And that if you know anything is going on with any one of us, we just immediately start to pray or offer our good wishes for healing and tell the truth, everyone. Every one of you, don't you feel the blessings and the prayer of everyone who joins in with you, especially those on YouTube, those on Facebook too? I know you hear us and you see it. And doesn't it give you that energy to go that extra mile one more time? I know it does for me. So one of the good things about resilience is to also enjoy having these wonderful, pure feelings, and nothing is more powerful than music to do that. So let's just take a little music break and just percolate some of the ideas that I've just shared, and think about this. You know, what is in you that, you know, you're ready to kind of move into? You know, whether it's somebody with a health opportunity, are you resilient? Are you ready to break through this? Are you ready to conquer it? Whether it's a financial struggle, and I know how scary those times can be. Or if it's a relationship that you thought was going to last forever. I was talking to somebody today, and she was sharing how, I wish my husband would just look out for me a little bit more. You know, I had to go to the hospital and he told me to take Uber. I said, that's marriage. No, it's like dal and chapati every day. It gets boring after a while. You don't know what to do. But no, she was just saying that really, it's like, I feel like I give so much to this marriage and I feel like I don't get it back. So I was telling her one of the mistakes women make in marriage is that They want their husbands to be their friends and their best friends. And if you have it, it's a blessing. If you can be a friend with your husband and your husband your friend, and there is honesty in your communication and trust, and a sense that you're going to both help each other to build your empire, that's heavenly. And I can tell you this by observing and speaking to so many couples over the years, it is absolutely possible to achieve that. The only thing you have to get out of the way is your attachment and your ego, where there's expectations of the other person. And if you can remove those two levels of consciousness from your marriages or your relationship, or even with you and your kids or your colleagues at work, it will be a celebration. And you'll feel like heaven has come to your home. And heaven has come into your lives. And everything is just easy. Both of you have to look at yourself and say, how much longer do we fight? How much longer do we hate each other? Let us not be deceived thinking that it's always better on the other side outside. Why don't we make it better here on the inside? Believe it or not, approaching your marriage with this attitude, it is an expression of resilience. Because sometimes you just feel like you don't have it. But guess what? You always will. Let's take a break.
I am healed, whole and healthy. I relax and visualize. I am healed, whole and healthy. I am well, I am well. I am healed, whole and healthy. I relax and visualize. I am healed, whole and healthy. I am well, I am well. I am healed, whole and healthy. I accept and I receive. I am healed, whole and healthy. I am well, I am well, I am well. I am healed, whole and healthy. Angels are watching over me. I am healed, whole and healthy. I am well, I am well, I am well. Healed, whole, healed, whole, healed,
So welcome back. Wasn't that a nice song? It's so beautiful. Is everyone having a good time today in the family? Can you imagine we've created a virtual family? And I'm such a huggy, touchy person. Who would have ever thought that I would have survived that? Oh my gosh, you never know what's in you, you know? Like, I'm more like, you know, huggy, like, you know? And now I'm like 6 feet distance. Now I can only hug you with my eyes, which has really been the culture of the Brahma Kumaris. Many times when you meet the BKs, the first thing that we do is have an exchange of spiritual love known as drishti, where we go behind our eyes, connect to the soul awareness, and then we pull Baba's energy inside as an experience. And then through the eyes, we convey a very warm, loving Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti. And every time we do that, it just levels out any karmic debris you might have with that person. You know, it's kind of like the namaste when you meet each other. But it's how to sustain that, how to sustain the purity of that moment of Om Shanti between you and another person. And the irony is you felt how beautiful that was for you when you were behind your eyes in your soul awareness, connecting to the energy of God with love and meeting another one of His creation with that energy. You know, if everyone could do that in this country and across the globe, there will be world peace. And I think that's really what the Brahma Kumaris has always really wanted to do. I'm thinking now with the teachings that we keep offering every single day in so many variety of ways online now, is that all we want to see is a world where people just get along. And until you can feel comfortable with yourself, it's not easy to get along with anyone else. I made breakfast for everyone today, and Sister Gita sat with me around breakfast, and I've been churning, which means I've been thinking very deeply about the thoughts that I'm observing approaching my consciousness. I've been thinking a lot about certain experiences that I'm encountering that I've never encountered before. And I've been thinking about my vision, the dreams, those feelings that are trying to pull me out of a hole, but I'm too comfortable in the hole, you know? So this morning, that was my framing of vibrations today. And I just turned to Sister Gita. She was eating, and she was eating so peacefully, but she took some plantains that weren't cooked and she snuck it on her plate. Then she had some kheer, some porridge, which I don't know where she got it from. Then she had a strawberry. Then she had some chawal. Then she had some Jamaican leftover jerk. Then she had, and I was thinking, such a variety of food. Can you taste everything? She's like, yes. And I looked at her face, and she was so peaceful and so happy in her own company that I just turned to her and I go, what does it feel like to just be so happy with your own company for so long? She just looked at me like, what are you talking about? And I'll explain what I mean. She's not distracted by a text message. She's not distracted by email. She's not worrying about paying bills. She's not distracted about relationships. She's not worried about, oh my God, did you hear what happened on Capitol Hill? I mean, the woman still is asking me, what is Corona? I mean, what am I supposed to tell her? It just doesn't work. And she still wants me to tell her, who is this Donald Trump that everybody keeps telling me about? I mean, she's that purified. I mean, who doesn't want to be in that stage? Anyway, I mean, I would love that. So in a conversation, I just looked at her and I said, that must be incredible. She just had to take that raw planting out of her plate. She goes, no, give me that. I go, let me cook it for you, no? No, it's okay, I'll just have it. I says, let me just cook it. 2 minutes, I'll cook it. You can watch me, I'll just cook it. She's like, okay. And she watched me cook her plant, and that was the only thing that shook her. We're interesting energies. Is it that when we take away anything from each other, when we feel that sense of loss, that we really start to fight for it? Why do we fight for when we think what is being taken away from us is limited and it has to go? But we lose our peace, and we lose our love, and we lose our dignity, and we lose our happiness. And it's not because of the thing. It is something that the soul decides to either compromise because of a material possession or to give up. It's like a crisis, isn't it? What is the solution to a crisis? My own inner crisis and the crisis in the world? Well, let's take a listen to Sister Genti and hear what she has to say and see what tips she'll be able to give us so that we can gain more strength.
If I go back to where we'd started, and that was the crises that we're facing in the world today, the financial, the political, the family, the religious, the environmental, there's a list of them. I see all of those as actually being spiritual crises. And if we were to resolve the spiritual crisis, I think everything else would fall into the right place. We'd be able to deal with all of those things, absolutely. Why I say that is because somebody would say that, the environmental crisis is because we've been totally commercialized and we haven't given anyone an understanding that nature is to be respected or even that nature is sacred. Well, that's a spiritual statement. All the political crises that we're thinking about and the injustice that seems to be happening, again, to me, it's because our moral compass is not aligned. We're not understanding where it is we need to go and what our destination really is. The financial crisis is absolutely human-created, where we've got this big division between the have and the have-nots. So just looking at all of these things, I see how coming back to a spiritual consciousness resolves these things for me personally, but also I think there's a lot of good that's happening in the world that is being released at the present moment. On one level I see the descending energy and the darkness increasing, but on the other side I see the ascending energy. And so the choice that I make when I'm spiritually conscious and aware is, which part do I want to be part of? Do I want to be part of the descending darkness, or do I want to be part of the ascending energy of light? And then it's many, many organizations, many individuals who are being inspired to do that which is good, which reminds me that there is that original goodness within all of us, and we're all coming back to that. And so spiritually, what happens when I go through that transformation of shifting my awareness from being just limited matter to being a spiritual entity, in this awareness, then I realize my responsibility to myself, my responsibility to others, and to the world at large. And so in the awareness of the soul, in my connection with the divine, what happens is that I'm getting in touch with my own inner goodness. And now my responsibility is to share goodness with those whom I meet, whether it's my immediate family, whether it's the people at work, or my neighbor, whoever that neighbor happens to be. And so the proof of my transformation, of this change of consciousness from material and limited to being spiritual and unlimited, is that there's a behavior change. There's a change in terms of my values and the expression of my values in my life.
Hi, I just found out today's Friday. I could have sworn today was Thursday. See what I'm saying? What the pandemic is doing to us. On Shanti. Anyway, let's say hi to everybody out there. Is everybody enjoying our wonderful next normal evening? Susanna Sukiashan, very nice to have you. Asmita, how's Dad? Hope he's doing very well, sending lots of love. Asmita's dad is doing very well, but we want him to do better. So if everyone can keep sending her as the caregiver and to her father, that will be awesome. Louise, Om Shanti, nice to have you. Denise, nice to have you too. Indu, Wendy, S. Watson, Divyani, Alika. Alika, thank you for your beautiful video message. We'll play that next week. But did you like Carlton Pearson? Because of your request in asking about doing this, Carlton did a really nice one. So I just asked about 2 or 3 people, and it was very nice. So thank you for that wonderful, wonderful support. And one of the good things about Alika is that I think she's just inspiring, and she's inspired to keep her inspiration. So she has that natural resilience despite all the challenges that will come in outside of us or inside of us. You know what? We've all got that resilience. So Carlene, welcome. Grace, everybody, Praveen, Nikhil Kumar, Minakshi, Om Shanti, Bimla Aditi, Om Shanti, and everybody on Facebook, Nikki Wallace, Vashti, Suhela, Blessila, nice to have you, Enid, all of you. You know, I keep telling you that I don't know what's going to really be there for us with these days and the way that we have each other now, and the enormous amount of spiritual, mental, but also the physical support, because without technology, without YouTube, we're not going to be supported, right? Without being able to take care of everything, we're not going to be supported. So again, being very grateful and sending your good wishes and real appreciation. If we can keep building this energy of positivity and inspiring ourselves and each other, and keep looking out for each other. I was having a real heart-to-heart talk. I spoke to a lot of people today, even though my intention was to sit in Bubba's room and have a deep dive. But I had a really long conversation with the CEO of See Good TV, Trina Wyatt, and one of the things that she was really saying is how when she was raised in Hawaii, she had a best friend who was transgender. She had a companion, a boyfriend who was half black, half white, and even though her parents were Mormons, she says growing up, just always having a variety of people, she never thought of race or color or disabilities or stuff, and she was realizing at this point in her life how blessed she was to have been exposed to so much at a young age, that she doesn't walk with that prejudice or that like, oh my God, look at that, or what, you know. I went to a conference in California a few years ago, and I was up to speak maybe in another hour or so, and there was a woman, and she walked into the room, tall, about 6'1", brown chocolate skin, big shoulders, well dressed, hair was really well done. And as she passed by, the young man who was sitting next to me just says, "Is that a man or a woman?" And I said, "I don't know, you should ask, no?" "Oh, no, I can't do that." I go, "Well, I'll ask." No, because I don't want to speculate about anyone, and I didn't have anything negative about her. So I went over to her and I said, you know, I was wondering, I know you're transgender, and can you kind of share with me what it's been like or what it's like to be you? Because I don't know and I don't want to make any assumptions. And she just turned to me, everyone, and she looked down with her deep husky voice and she said, "No one's ever asked me that. Thank you." The power of honesty. I mean, I could have followed the other guy and go, "I don't know, what do you think?" Oh, you know, and I just didn't. I said, "Well, go ask No." He's like, "No, I could never do that." I said, "Well, I want to know." I've never sat with a transgender and really asked them, "What are you feeling? What are you going through? What's it like?" It was the most richest conversation I'd ever had. It was beautiful. It added to my resilience of acceptance. accepting what doesn't look like me, what doesn't sound like me, what doesn't walk like me, I was able to have the power and the resilience to accept it. Even with what has happened in Washington, D.C. of late, I want to even accept those souls, even though I felt like I want to understand why they felt that way. And I feel that when you feed yourself a particular rhetoric all the time, if you're listening to a particular news channel, and if that news channel and everything that you're attracted to is always about pumping up, you know, going against, this is that, eventually you stop thinking. And then you get brainwashed to think what they want you to think. And what I love about Next Normal, it makes you think, doesn't it? It doesn't just tell you, okay, let me accept you. It's like, wow, what did she just say? But when you're told the system, the this, the that, this is that, this is rigged, this wasn't rigged, this is, and that's all you hear, and you stop thinking, then that's what happens. You lose yourself. And where your resilience might end up in an area that is destructive, then you wake up one day at peace with yourself and the feds are coming to your door arresting you. It's a federal crime. It's poor people. And even though it's all karmic, I just wish that mass media would educate and elevate, you know, that they would be resilient to believe there's enough. One day, right? One day. All right. Anyway, let's move on. Everybody out there, thanks so much. Hope you enjoyed today's conversation. Kailash, everybody, hope that you took some benefit from today's sharing, and it's just making you a much nicer person. A nicer person. And I don't mean nice where you're weak, but nicer means stronger, more resilient. Have a lovely night tonight. Take care of each other. Take care of yourselves. Be well. Be light. Be love. Good night. Hi everyone, it's Sister Jenna from America Meditating Radio. I hope you've been enjoying Wise-ish, which you can get live on Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube from 8:30 a.m. to 8:45. But you can also get it on demand 24/7. It's going to be your power boost for the morning. It's your daily dose for the soul. It's just going to encourage you to make the day that much more valuable. So join us. Looking forward to seeing you.
Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for Thank you for